Your adventure begins on a crisp afternoon in the sprawling city of Dualis, a bustling hub of the Riverlands. Nestled at the heart of the Delta, Dualis is renowned for its vibrant marketplaces and diverse population. While humans make up the majority of the city's denizens, other races weave through the urban tapestry, though half-elves are notably rare in this part of the world. At present, Dualis faces an unprecedented crisis. Despite the regular rainfall, a familiar rhythm of every other day, the rivers feeding into the Delta have dwindled alarmingly. The waterways that once surged with life now meander weakly. And though the sea should be a constant, the ocean's level seems to have subtly receded, a phenomenon that seems almost too strange to be real. The city's streets, a patchwork of cobblestone and dirt, are alive with activity today. Vendors line every thoroughfare, their stalls bursting with colorful wares and enticing aromas. It's a bustling Saturday, so everyone is out. But this day is even busier because it carries an extra layer of significance. By royal decree, today has been designated as a day of charity. There is a gala planned for the late afternoon, and in a peculiar twist, it is open to all citizens, not just the elite. The normally exclusive event promises a rare occasion for the entire town to come together. As the city buzzes with anticipation and preparation, what are you all up to?
Ben, as a guard, I'm all about doing what's necessary for the city. I'll be at the barracks waiting for orders. I mean, they're offering 20% more pay and water for anyone who helps with the gala security today. Can't pass that up.
Great. It's about 3 p.m. when you're at the barracks, and you're surrounded by about 150 other soldiers. All of you are digging into what is quite a generous meal before what's going to be a long shift. The gala is set for 4 p.m., and it's likely to run past midnight. While you're eating, you see the commanding officer step up to the edge of the room and start speaking. All right, listen up, everyone. Security today is crucial. We've got a lot of high-profile guests coming to the gala and a big crowd of regular folks. Practically the entire kingdom will be there, and we need to make sure nothing goes wrong. That means you need to handle any issues before they even start. For an extra layer of security, we're looking for a dozen volunteers to act as private escorts for our VIP guests. It's not that I don't believe in all of you, but given the current water crisis, we need to be even more vigilant than typical. Plus, we've received anonymous warnings about potential trouble tonight, so we're on even higher alert. Anyone who steps up for private security will get triple pay and water rations for the week. That's right, triple pay. The room goes silent for a moment, as though the guards can't believe what they've heard, and you can't tell if it's from shock or excitement. Then, suddenly, voices ring out, hands shoot up. Guards are practically bouncing in their seats, eager to be chosen. Joe, you know about the water issue, but this is way more significant of a response than you expected. What's your move?
I'll just stay here at the table, ignoring all the commotion and keep eating my meal. I want to give those who are less fortunate and those who have families the first dibs on escorting the elite.
That's very generous of you. Donald, what's your move?
I'm in my parents' castle, Ben, thousands of miles away in the Dragonlands. I'm just getting dressed for the event, okay? I'll make sure to wear something tremendous, something the ladies are sure to dig.
Donald, remember, we talked about this. You need to be in the Riverlands so you can meet up with the others. I'm not trying to control your choices. Once we're there, you can do whatever you want. But if you're not in the right location, why even show up today?
Geez, why are you always on my case, Shabibo? I heard what we discussed, and I'm planning to add my own flavor to it. Anyway, I'll be getting dressed in my quarters, checking my coin purse and the note in my breast pocket. I'll read the note again. I need to talk to these 3 people, and if necessary, bribe them. That's why I'm at the gala, to spread my family's influence. Once I'm ready, I'll head to the mage's quarters, family seal in hand.
Fine. You make your way to the mage's quarters. The door guard sees your family seal, gives a nod, and lowers the force field covering the entrance. Paintings of various towns surround you, some at eye level, some near the floor, and some high up on the ceiling. What do you want to do?
Do I have to spell this shit out for you? I'm gonna find the portrait of Dualis and focus on it. This is unbelievable. Did you really doubt I'd get to the place we talked about? I know people think I'm a hothead, but of course I'm gonna follow instructions so I can play with my friends.
I figured that's where you'd go. I trust you to follow through, but I didn't want to dictate your character's actions. It's your game, after all.
All right, I get it. So, I walk up to the painting of Dualis, which just happens to be at eye level, as it's got a fantastic port. really one of the greatest, so we use it a lot and focus on it. I'll channel some of my magical energy into my arcane focus and then into the painting.
Wonderful. As you do so, the painting starts to glow and vibrate. The scene within begins to come to life, expanding beyond its frame, like an augmented reality. The scene grows brighter, and your vision starts to switch between your current surroundings and the painting itself. The mage's quarters fade from view as the painting takes over. Then, in a flash, you're there. The texture of the ground changes, and the temperature rises slightly. You're in the mage quarters of Dualis, standing right outside their portrait of your parents' castle.
Of course, I made it. I told you I'd play along.
Yeah, thanks. I should probably trust you more, but you're always a bit of a wild card. Barack, what are you up to?
Ben, I'm in the royal chambers. The king and queen invited me to speak at the gala tonight because they recognize the influence I've built in the city, and many of the townsfolk will recognize me at the event. They want me to promote peace and safety, given the recent uptick in civil unrest due to the water crisis. It's been going on for about a month now. Prices are up since farmers can't irrigate, water is scarce, and people are really trying to conserve it. It's gotten to the point that even bathing is a luxury, so people are getting a bit smelly.
I like it. That fits with your character's background. Obama, you've been writing and thinking for about 30 minutes, deeply focused on the speech you are preparing and the message you wish to deliver. Suddenly, the sound of your quill scribbling on the parchment is overshadowed by a high-pitched whirring. Out of nowhere, your flying machine has activated and is spinning in circles off to your left, whirring and blinking occasionally.
I sigh, thinking to myself, why can't I just get rid of this thing? I try to ignore it.
Almost as if able to understand you, the machine starts spinning in tighter circles, getting closer to you with each rotation. The light begins to flash more rapidly.
Once the light gets quicker, I get up in frustration and swat the thing out of the air. It crashes to the floor, but as usual, it doesn't break. I stomp on it, then hold back a curse as a jolt of electricity runs up my leg. The shock. The shock brings back memories of that old dwarven ruin. The ruin was so cramped and so dark, we were constantly getting shocked when we put our hands in the wrong area. I remember the cries for help from the party as the automatons tore into them, and how he was crushed before my eyes by one of their press traps, blood trickling out as I watched him vanish from existence in horror.
Holy fuck. Obama, are you okay?
Wow, that's some serious trauma.
Obama, we are all here for you if you need us.
I'm fine, guys. Just really enjoy getting into the role play, you know?
Right. Anyway, your character's flashbacks continue for a couple of minutes until you hear a knock at the door.
What a godsend. Ben, the knock pulls me back to reality. I look around at the lavish, comfortable room and take a deep breath, trying to calm myself. I shiver a bit, feeling the goosebumps, and try to settle back into the rhythm of writing.
There's another knock after about 30 seconds at the door, this one more urgent. You hear a voice from the other side, faint but clear. Speaker Hope Caller?
Give me a moment, I'm just finishing my speech.
About that, sir. It's time for the gala.
Holy cow, how long was I lost in those memories? I'll be right out. I quickly stuff my quill and scroll into my pack, then get up and rush to the door, trying to compose myself as best as I can.
As you head to the door, the flying machine lifts off from the ground and pursues you, hovering by your head. You're acutely aware that it might raise more questions than answers if anyone sees it.
Ugh, I really hate this thing. I'll shove it into my pack and open the door.
You open the door to find a well-dressed human, possibly a servant or a butler. He takes a step back, seemingly startled, but it's hard to tell if it's your appearance or how abruptly you opened the door. He looks at you, opens his mouth as if to speak, then thinks better of it and pulls out a cloth from his pocket. For your eyes, quickly, sir. The gala is about to begin. Okay, back to you, Joe. Soldiers have been assigned to escort the elite, and your commanding officer has headed back to his room. The meal is mostly over now. While most of the soldiers have already left the barracks, a few are still hanging around and chatting.
Makes sense. I'll finish up my meal and head over to my commanding officer's office.
You make your way to his office at the end of the barracks without any trouble. You see him checking off names on a list, likely those who requested extra security in the city, and a register of all guards providing security tonight.
Officer Pickle, I say, standing in the doorway and saluting.
Wait a second. Did you really name this guy Officer Pickle?
Yeah, Officer Pickle, named after my roommate's college girlfriend during the Civil War. Her nickname was Vinegar Vicky, and she had this huge obsession with cucumbers, had one of the largest gardens I'd ever seen, and was an absolute master at growing them. Anyway, one day she left some of the cucumbers in the vinegar water she used to drink. She always thought that it made her look more youthful, but it just made her teeth fall out, and that's how pickles were invented.
Joe, did you just take ketamine? Why were you talking so slow, and why did your voice get so rough? Here, have some water.
I don't think that's accurate at all, Joe, but I'm not going to question you about it. Officer Pickle responds. Yes, Brandon? Something you need?
Well, sir, I'd like to take part in collecting and moving charity goods. I didn't come up earlier because I wanted to give others who are in more dire need of money and resources, like those with families. The first dibs on security. They need it more than I do. For security as a single guy in his 20s.
Joe, are you okay? You're really slurring your speech more than normal.
I'm fine, guys. Hunter just gave me something special before the session. Said it would chill me out.
Oh, Jesus.
Your officer considers your words for a few moments and nods. That's a very generous thing for you to do. I have the utmost respect for you, Brandon. Why don't you make your way down to... He is cut off by the barracks door opening and a voice ringing out, Officer Pickle! Officer Pickle! Lord Dundeal is here from the Dragonlands. Let's cut to Donald. Donald, you arrive at the portal room in Dualis at your blink point. As the spell completes, you hear some gasps, and one of the mages even points at you. They look quite nervous, but eventually, one of them manages to approach you, though he's barely mustering the courage. Prince Dundeal, he stammers. It's an honor to have you here for the charity gala. Are your parents joining us? He swallows hard.
No, I respond. They sent me in their place. They didn't think this event was important enough, but you know how they are about keeping up with current events. Let's get me to this gala.
The mage looks down, nodding. Yes, of course. He pauses. Right this way, then. He gestures for you to follow.
Okay, I'll follow him.
You both leave the building. Having used this blink point many times, you're familiar with the surroundings, and you both navigate the city with little effort, doing your best to avoid the throngs of passersby on this incredibly busy day. After a couple of minutes, you reach the barracks, and he leads you inside. You see a guard in the doorway, apparently speaking to someone. Officer Pickle? Officer Pickle? Your guide calls out. Prince Dundeal of the Dragonlands has arrived and requires an escort. You both reach the doorway, and the guard in it shifts slightly. At this, the officer stops his conversation and quickly stands from his chair and salutes you, Donald, bowing deeply. My apologies, Prince Dundeal. We didn't realize you were coming.
I understand. I'll be honest, I didn't know I was coming until this morning either. It's up to my parents, you see. Now, about that escort?
Yes. Right away, my lord, he stammers, almost tripping over his words. I apologize again for the delay. Officer Pickle faces you, Joe, his voice faltering slightly. It's clear he doesn't want to be around the Dragonborn. You're now in charge of Prince Dundeal's security. That's an order. Clearly, he wants to avoid the crowd, and his safety is of the utmost importance. Do not let anything happen to him.
Oh, I say to Officer Pickle, trailing off, I didn't really want to escort anyone. I'd rather be helping with supplies and donations.
The officer says nothing, simply motioning toward Donald.
But it's clear I don't have much choice. Ben, I'll reach out and shake the prince's hand.
I'll take the guard's hand, gripping it firmly and giving a solid, businesslike handshake.
Good day, Prince Dundeal. Guard Brandon at your service. I bow.
A pleasure to meet you, Guard Brandon.
Officer Pickle chimes in again, curtly. The gala is about to begin. Make haste.
As you wish, sir. I turn to Prince Dundeal. Please follow me.
I'll follow Ben.
Wonderful. You two make your way to the castle without incident. You notice more people than usual out today, Joe. Many are heading to the castle as well. You know it's a public event, which is rare, but you didn't expect such a large turnout. Most are poorly dressed in ragged clothing, with families clinging together, wives holding their husbands and children.
Wow, there are a lot of people here. I wonder what's driving them all out.
Don't the guards fill you in on anything? The king and queen are addressing the water shortage. It's not just a city issue. Farmers outside the gates are struggling to grow anything, and their families don't have enough to even bathe. It's really dire.
I stop, astonished. How do you know all this? It can't be that bad.
Wow, the ignorance here is impressive. My parents weren't lying. Yes, Brandon, it's that bad, practically in riot territory. Your leaders haven't done much about it, and that's what worries me. I grimace.
I don't believe it. I take his hand and lead him toward the castle in silence. My leaders, my superiors lying to me? Surely not. Maybe this Dragonborn is just spreading propaganda. But even if he's right, surely they didn't know any better.
You arrive at the castle, greeted by a sea of people. 5 minutes pass, and you're making little progress through the crowd. The castle is packed.
I'll carefully use my shield to push through the crowd and make a better pace.
You nudge people aside carefully, but progress remains slow. You might make it to the entrance, but not into the main hall.
Ugh, screw this. Ben, I'm using my dragon breath to shoot fire into the air above the crowd. I'm not waiting around.
Jesus, Trump.
Trump, you're going to do what?
I'm going to use my fire breath aimed up so I don't hit anyone and roar so that these people get out of my way.
All right. You feel the fire build up in your chest, then unleash a fierce roar and stream of flames into the air. People scatter in panic, screaming. Some fall over in the chaos, and you're sure a few get trampled.
As soon as I see the fire, I duck and raise my shield. Get down, I yell out.
Perfect. I'll walk rapidly through the cleared path, standing tall and looking around at everyone.
You advance through the path you've created. Many are terrified, a few are angry, and some can't even meet your gaze. It's so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Even those in the main area of the castle look back at you to see what all the commotion was about.
I remain crouched for a moment, getting my bearings. Once I understand the situation, I lower my shield and race after Trump, furious. What in the heavens was that for?
Your people weren't moving out of my way fast enough. Do you have any idea how long it would have taken us to get through? My parents keep a tight schedule, and I absolutely must be present for the gala.
Prince Zadhkiel, I say, barely holding back my rage. These are my people, my king and queen. My voice echoes through the hall. I wish I could say you're the only one, but it's always like this. Every one of the elites is the same, and I'm sick of the way you all treat us common folk, as if we're just obstacles to be pushed aside.
You can see many of the others in the castle nodding as Brandon says this, agreeing with him.
We have lives, families, hopes, and dreams just like you. Is everyone in your kingdom like this? Did you learn this behavior from your parents?
At the mention of my parents, I'm going to punch him in the face, Ben.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
I swear this happens every session. Why do we even play together?
Trump, you don't need to do this. I'm just role-playing a naive guard with a short temper.
Yeah? And I'm role-playing punching you in the face. Ben, I'm smacking him right now.
All right. Joe, as you're in the middle of your tirade, Prince Zadhkiel raises a fist. But just before he can strike, both of you hear a booming voice.
Now, let's not escalate this. I know tensions are high, but we're here to celebrate our kingdom.
Are you kidding me, Shapiro? A Deus Ex Machina in a tabletop game? What kind of nonsense is this?
Ha 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 ha.
Nice save, Ben. It looked like Trump was about to pull a corn pop.
Donald, do I need to remind you? We discussed before the session that there would be no PvP combat.
Yeah, well, did Joe forget the part where he's not supposed to provoke his friends?
I don't know. Did you forget the part where you called me sleepy and said being honorable was a losing strategy?
Good grief, can you two calm down? You're bickering like children. We're supposed to be role models for the nation. Now apologize.
Sorry, Trump.
Sorry, Biden.
Good, now let's get back to the game.
All right. With that settled, you both notice a half-elf standing at the podium by the throne. He begins to speak, and his voice is magically amplified so that everyone in the castle can hear.
Oh my God, that's Eskrit Hopecaller. He's such an incredible speaker, practically a legend. I've done security at some of his speeches before, but I didn't know he'd be here today.
Interesting. I've never seen magic like this before.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the kingdom, I stand before you today with a heart full of gratitude and a deep sense of responsibility. I am truly honored to be in the presence of such a noble and resilient people. Your strength and fortitude in the face of adversity is a testament to the enduring spirit of this land. I know that many of you are worried, and I understand why. The challenge you face, a challenge that affects the very essence of life itself, is something that weighs heavily on us all.
Eskrit continues, acknowledging the tenacity of the people during the water crisis and emphasizing the need for unity. He assures them that the king and queen are doing their best. He finishes with,
As I conclude, let me leave you with this thought. The greatest achievements of any people are not measured by their ability to avoid difficulties, but by their ability to face them with determination and resolve. You are a people of great character, and I have every...
An enormous explosion rocks the castle, sending debris and rocks flying in every direction. Panic erupts, and people scramble for the exits, many tripping and falling in their frantic rush. Obama, since you're close to the throne area, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. You'll have disadvantage because you're caught completely off guard.
Damn, that's an 11 with my dexterity modifier, Ben.
Obama, as the explosion hits, you're far enough to avoid the fire, but the shockwave sends you crashing into the crowd. You're knocked 15 feet away and take 4 damage from the fall. You definitely broke something.
Damn it.
Ben, I'm going to survey the scene and figure out what just happened.
I'll back him up, staying close by to support wherever needed.
All right, Donald, roll investigation with advantage.
This is what I'm talking about. Ben, that's a 21 with my modifier.
Nice roll. As the smoke starts to clear, you see a massive hole in the wall at the far end of the main room. There are figures emerging from it, just silhouettes for now. You also hear rushing water, and the floor is covered with about half an inch that is rapidly rising.
What the heck? Where's this water coming from? Ben, how many figures are there?
After a careful count, you see 9 figures at the far end of the throne room. Just as you're getting a grip on things, the bell starts ringing, and a crier shouts, "Everyone out of the castle! We are under attack!" Everyone who is not a guard makes a beeline for the exits.
I'm not going anywhere, Ben. My job is to protect the people here.
Ben, I'm going to get up and make my way slowly to the exit.
I'm sticking with Biden Shapiro. I can't be seen fleeing. It looked terrible for my family's reputation, but I need someone to cover me in this mess, and Biden's the best choice.
Got it. A few seconds pass, and you see the figures becoming clearer as the smoke dissipates. One of them, presumably the leader, steps forward to the podium. His voice is amplified in the same way that Eskrit's was. "We don't want to hurt anyone other than those who deserve it," he says calmly. The other 8 draw their crossbows, but the leader raises a hand. "Hold your fire. Let everyone out of the castle." Then he continues. "Ladies and gentlemen, your king and queen and the other aristocrats have deceived you. They have betrayed you, even Eskrit Hopecaller." He nods at you in respect and acknowledgement, Obama. "A hero in this land has been misled into believing your kingdom is united. But they are not. They sit in their secret rooms, scheming, hoarding all the water for themselves, enjoying luxurious baths, and running their decorative fountains. Some of you might doubt my words, but my evidence is the water you're standing in now. We blew up some of their reserves, and now they are draining. Sure, it's not enough to harvest all your crops, but certainly enough to make a difference." At this, many of the people who were leaving the castle start to come back inside and listen. The leader continues, "Do you really want to go back to your homes with the water you so desperately need being hoarded by your rulers? I think not." He takes out a crossbow and finishes, "Tonight, I will die for the people of this city. Do not let that be the end. And now, I need everyone to roll for initiative."
Are you kidding me? I rolled a natural 1.
Wow, first roll and it's a nat 1. Not a great start. Here's the deal with nat 1s in this campaign. If you roll a nat 1, you roll a second d20. If that's also a 1, you'll have a catastrophic failure. Otherwise, it's a normal failed roll. The idea being that while even seasoned adventurers might mess up occasionally, it's not an everyday thing. Nat 20s remain critical strikes, as you're more likely to succeed than fail. So, Donald, roll again.
21. Nice. Avoided the really bad outcome.
Great. Joe and Barack?
I rolled a 9.
An 8 for me, Ben.
All right. 2 of the bandits rolled less than a 9, so 6 of them go first. Then Joe, then the leader, then Barack, then 2 bandits, and finally Donald. At this point, you notice the 12 town guards still in the castle and recognize that you're all just a small part of a much larger fight. Wow. I just rolled for these guards, and they're completely incompetent. I swear on my wife, who is a doctor, by the way, that 4 out of 12 of them rolled nat 1s. I tried to make this encounter a breeze, but it looks like the enemies are getting the first move here.
Damn, Joe really does fit right in with these guards.
We might really be in trouble here. All that character development for nothing?
Speak for yourself, Obama. I have faith in us. We'll get through this together.
Let me roll again for those 4 guards. Phew, none of them got 2 nat 1s in a row. All right, good luck to all of you. The turn order is 1 bandit, 2 guards, 4 bandits, 1 guard, a bandit, and the leader, Barack, 1 bandit, 2 guards, Joe, 2 guards, the last bandit, Donald, and then 4 guards. The first bandit shoots at the closest guard and lands a sharp Shapiro 20.
Ben, are you sure you're not rigging these dice? First 4 guards roll nat 1s, and now the first bandit rolls a nat 20?
I swear I'm not rigging anything. It wouldn't make sense for me to set this up just to end it early, would it? Just a great stroke of luck to start.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
All right, here's how crits work in this campaign. We'll roll a die just like normal, add the maximum to it, and then add modifiers. This bandit rolled a 5, so we'll add 8 for his d8 damage and plus 1 from his modifier for a total of 14 damage. The arrow hits the guard right between the eyes, and he collapses instantly. The bandits and even the guards are stunned, looking at one another dumbfounded with their jaws open. It takes a few seconds, but 2 guards snap back to reality and shoot at the bandit leader. A 13 and a nat 1. You can't make this up. Both arrows miss the leader, one by a much wider margin than the other. 4 bandits then take aim. 2 at the next guard, 1 at the one next to him, and 1 at you, Obama.
Shit.
The first bandit shooting at the guard misses, but the second hits, sinking into the guard's shoulder for 7 piercing damage. The arrow from the third bandit grazes his armor, but does no damage. Obama, the bandit targeting you rolled a 5, so he misses. 2 more bandits now attack since they killed the guard whose turn it would be. The leader and the bandit both shoot at you, Donald.
Are you kidding me? Why me?
Well, the other guards haven't been hitting much, and you're a big, intimidating dragonborn who is a member of the elite class they seem to hate. I remember you saying you're one of the biggest and strongest.
Maybe you're right. They might be onto something.
The bandits roll a 13 and a 17. Do either of those hit?
A 13 misses, but the 17 hits.
You dodge the first arrow with grace, but you don't see the second one, which sinks itself into your abdomen, dealing...
Wait, Ben. It's my time to shine. As a protection fighter with a shield, I'll use my reaction to give disadvantage on the attack against Donnie.
Great thinking, Joe.
Damn, you'd do that for me even after everything I did to antagonize you?
Well, it's my job to protect you. I might not like it, but I'd be in big trouble if anything happened to you.
Nice use of your class skills, Joe. With disadvantage imposed, the bandit rolled a 5. You raise your shield just in time to block the projectile meant for Donald.
Hell yeah.
All right, Barack, it's your turn.
Okay, Ben, how big is the area that the bandits occupy?
You'd estimate the 9 of them occupy about 30 feet side to side on the raised ledge at the back of the castle. They're about 60 feet away, however, since you made your way to the exit.
All right, I'm going to walk closer to the bandits and cast Sleep at the ones on the right.
Very clever, Barack. Roll 5d8.
You have got to be kidding me. Ben, there is no way you didn't rig these dice. I rolled a fucking 10, 3 1s, a 4, and a 3.
Obama, I think you're using Biden's dice by accident.
That's rough. Barack, you start your incantation, but the pain from your fall flares up, disrupting the spell. The bandit closest to your target area briefly closes his eyes, but shakes it off. Your sleep spell is a complete failure.
Unbelievable.
Come on, Obama, just like your presidency. Lots of effort, but no real results.
The next bandit attacks the injured guard, but misses with a roll of 13. Then, 2 guards shoot at another bandit, rolling a 17 and a dirty 20, dealing a total of 6 damage. 1 shot grazes his side, and the other lands in his arm. The bandit grunts. Joe, your turn.
Okay, I'll use my crossbow to shoot at the same bandits the guards hit. Does a 17 hit?
Yes, roll for damage.
Total of 4 damage, Ben.
Your arrow hits the bandit through his chest, piercing his leather armor. He's barely standing now. 2 more guards shoot at the bandit you targeted, Joe. A nat 20 and a 2. 1 arrow hits him squarely in the thigh, and he crumples. The last bandit shoots at the already injured guard, rolling a 16, which hits, dealing 2 damage. The arrow grazes him again. It's clear that the shooters on both sides are amateurs. Now, excuse me. I'll be right back while our creator switches the dice rolling software we're using. Okay, much better. Donald, your turn.
I'm holding my action. I don't want to provoke them.
Donnie, you coward, I've got your back.
The last 4 guards target the bandit leader, thinking if they can take him out, the others will scatter. 2 of them hit, dealing 10 damage. Both arrows slam into his chest, and he visibly winces. With that, it's back to the top of the round. The first bandit shoots the injured guard and misses with an 8. 2 guards then shoot at the leader again. A 3 misses, but the second hits with a nat 20, dealing 10 damage and hitting the leader in the chest again. The leader collapses onto one knee, barely holding on. 4 bandits respond by targeting the guard who shot the leader. 2 of them hit and deal 11 damage. The guard looks gravely injured. The leader's turn. He ducks behind the podium for cover and holds his action. Barack, it's your move.
I'm casting sleep on the bandits again, focusing on the ones all the way to the right and avoiding the leader.
Roll for effectiveness.
Much better this time. I got a 27.
Excellent. You successfully mutter your incantation this time, intent on not failing because of last time, and successfully cast sleep on the bandits. 2 of them fall into a deep slumber.
Hell yeah, Obama. That's what we're talking about.
The bandit who was next in initiative is now asleep, so it's on to the 2 guards. They shoot at the bandit on the far left. A 9 and another nat 20. Finally, they're hitting their marks. The guard's arrow hits the bandit in the temple, killing him instantly. Joe, you're up.
I'll shoot the leftmost bandit that's still alive. I rolled a 21 for 7 damage.
Nice shot. Your arrow pierces the bandit's leg. It's a deep wound. 2 more guards follow up, with 1 arrow just missing and the other hitting the bandit in the shoulder. He's barely standing. The bandit who just got hit is up now, and seeing many of his comrades incapacitated or wounded, loses hope. He drops his crossbow, kneels, and shouts, "We surrender! We surrender!" Some of the other bandits look relieved, while others seem confused. Donald, your turn.
All right, now that they're outnumbered and I'm not worried about losing, it's time for my act of heroism. I'm running up to the stage area and casting Burning Hands at the remaining bandits in the middle.
Trump, they just surrendered.
Dude, don't do that.
First of all, only the guy on the left surrendered, and last I checked, if one guy says he surrenders, that doesn't mean the fight is over. Secondly, these are the bastards who shot at me. I'm going to get my revenge. Ben, I cast it. The 3 bandits in the middle, not including the leader, will take 15 fire damage unless they make a DC 14 dexterity save.
15 fire damage? Are you sure?
Yep, I rolled a 4, a 5, and a 6.
All right. Wow, I'm rolling really poorly today. I'll need to jack up the difficulty going forward. All 3 fail their saves, and 2 of the 3 do so in hilariously bad fashion, as they roll nat 1s. Trump, how do you want to do this?
Channeling all of my inner magic, I unleash a searing jet of white-hot plasma from my hands. All 3 bandits are incinerated instantly. They don't even have time to scream.
Brutal. With those bandits killed and 4 of them incapacitated, the remaining 4 guards rush up to the stage and take the remaining bandits into custody. Combat ends.
As they do so, Ben, I look directly into the bandits' eyes and use my fire breath ability straight up into the air, roaring as a display of power.
As you do, you notice the smell in the castle getting noticeably worse. It's clear the bandits aren't handling the situation well.
Trump, I think you just made the bandits shit themselves, at least the ones who were still conscious.
Good. I call out to the guards. Guards, deal with the other 3 however you see fit, but bring the leader to me. I have some questions for him.
The guards notice your royal seal and comply, dragging the leader over to you. He collapses onto the floor, sobbing, his armor and clothes soaked with blood. He's barely able to stand and is hysterical.
I'm going to stay close to Donald, not because I think he's in immediate danger, but as a guard, it's important to show a temperament that the rulers would like. Something about this feels off. His tone and his fiery display of power show me that he's getting a bit out of control.
I'll limp over to join you, Donald. I'm curious about what the leader has to say, and I can see that things are getting a bit heated. No pun intended.
I'll lean down, grab the leader's face, and force him to look up at me. You know, I say with disgust, it's one of the most dishonorable things to abandon your allies in combat. Even though you were our enemy, the one thing I despise more than an opposing soldier is one who shirks his duties in the field. I am Magnus Dondiel of the Dragonlands, and we train all our soldiers to never break down in the line of duty. So why were you so weak? What made you fall apart? Who are you working for?
Roll for intimidation, with advantage.
Dirty 20, Ben, but not as dirty as the trousers of this pathetic bandit.
The terrified bandit continues to sob, his body trembling and eyes wide with fear. He barely manages to speak. We, the water, Lake, took orders from her.
You better start making more sense or I'm going to...
Magnus, look, I cut in. The guy's already terrified. He's not going to be any help if you keep pushing him like this.
My eyes dart to Barack, but I hold the bandit just as tightly. It's Lord Dondeal to you, I say, deadly serious.
Wow, I didn't expect a response like that. Trump, are you sure you shouldn't have played a berserker or a barbarian or something?
Ha! Obama? What do you think I am? Some kind of dumb brute? Please, I'm way more intelligent than that. I'm just a sorcerer with a bad temper. Barbarians are for those who can't control their rage and cry to mommy, like Gordon fucking Ramsay.
Whoa, that's a reference to the AI guy.
Stop breaking the fourth wall, Biden. It ruins immersion. Yeah, I know everyone's probably grinning right now because of that meta comment, but let's stay in character. I was just using him as an example.
Fair enough. He definitely loses his temper more than you do. And I have to agree that magic is pretty cool too. Back to D&D though. Lord Dondeal, I say calmly, trying to ease the tension. This bandit is not a threat. He wants to cooperate and fears for his life if he doesn't. He's terrified right now. Just give him 2 minutes on his own.
Yes, just 2 minutes, Lord Dondeal. I chime in, bowing. He'll tell us everything he knows. I can feel it. Oh,
I'm still fuming and focused on how disappointed I am in this soldier for abandoning his duties. It's only when Joe bows that I snap out of it, replaying their words in my mind. After a few seconds, I release the bandit and nod at Biden. You two make a convincing argument. Very well. I let go.
The bandit clutches at his throat, gently massaging it and gasping for air. It seems you were choking him with a grip far tighter than you intended. Ugh, he moans, his voice strained and weak.
I sit down beside the leader and try to offer a comforting presence. Look, man, I say gently, placing a hand on his shoulder. I'm sorry about Lord Dondeal's intense methods. We really need to get the information from you, but I don't condone how things were handled. I speak quietly, aiming to calm him down while keeping my focus on the task.
After 10 or 20 seconds of awkward silence, I glance over at Biden. You there, guard? Bill, was it Brian?
Brandon, my lord?
Yes, Brandon. I hesitate trying to find the right words. I've never been great at expressing gratitude. You have my appreciation for blocking that shot back there. It's not like I couldn't have handled it, but an arrow impaling my stomach would have made today a lot worse.
Oh, it was nothing really. I was just following orders. My commanding officer emphasized how crucial it was for you to remain unharmed.
He definitely has the right idea. My parents, let's just say they're not the most understanding when it comes to my injuries, especially if they happen on someone else's watch. You saved both of us a lot of trouble.
At this point, the bandit has managed to calm down enough to breathe more steadily. He stutters, then points a trembling finger at Donald. You vaporized 3 of my men. Those were my friends. People I've known since I was young. He trails off, overcome by tears, clutching his knees tightly.
I think you mean vaporized, Ben.
Yeah, thanks for correcting me. The voice generation can be a little weird.
Damn, it looks like this guy's traumatized by what just happened. Can't say I blame him. Lord Dondeal, I mean no disrespect, but I think it's better if... Sorry, what was your name again?
Brandon?
Thanks. It's probably best if Brandon and I talk to him alone. We'll get the information, and then you can have your turn later in the cell. I just don't think he'll be very cooperative with you around.
You know what? I think you're right, Mr. Hopecaller. I leave and head back to the mage's quarters.
As you leave the castle, Donald, you see hundreds of townspeople on the streets, displaced and confused. Many recognize you and glare with disgust. A few even spit on the ground as you pass. The aftermath of the explosion is still fresh. As you continue walking, it doesn't take long to see the guards from the castle escorting the other 3 bandits. And further down the road, a battalion of guards marching their way towards the castle for added security.
Kind of pathetic it took them this long for them to arrive. Without my heroic intervention and that bard's sleep spell, they might have lost even more men.
The rest of your journey to the mage's quarters is uneventful. Back to you and Joe, Obama. Once Donald exits, the leader visibly relaxes. He takes a few deep breaths to compose himself, then lifts his face from his knees to look at you. If I go back, he begins, his voice shaking. I'm dead. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison either. His voice trembles, barely holding back tears. I just wanted the best for the people. They led me astray.
Listen, we understand, but we need answers. If you help us, we can speak to those in charge and see if we can arrange for you some better accommodations or a lighter sentence.
Oh yeah, I might be able to pull a few strings at the guard barracks. Nothing that breaks the law, of course. You'll still have to answer for your crimes, especially since your men killed a guard. But I can put in a good word. Now, please, tell us everything you know. Who are you working for?
I'll tell you everything, I swear. But it's not much, and it's confusing. I was recently drafted, well, more coerced, into the cult of the Silver Lake. An old business partner forced me into service, and my orders came from someone named Darian. Darian's never been this bold before. Until now, he'd only raided caravans and tried to mug high-profile people.
That makes sense. That's what I've been dealing with recently, protecting caravans and elites.
Exactly. Darian put this plan together in a rush. He didn't seem too confident. It was clear he was under pressure from his superior. We were just a distraction today. The main group is heading to the church to steal an artifact. I don't know any more than that. I promise.
The church? When?
I don't know. I really don't. He starts to cower, his fear evident as he looks away from your intense questioning.
Damn. I look at Obama. We need to get to the church. Now. I stand up, grabbing Obama's hand with one hand and the leader's with the other.
I guess I'm going along with you.
And that's where we'll end the session today. Thanks for watching, everyone.